Hi guys, I'm incredibly excited to be bringing you the latest talk of the town, the new Jean Paul student saxophone range. I've got the alto sax right in front of me here and the tenor to my left. So this is the AS-400 alto and this is the TS-400 tenor. The idea of these saxophones is that a fantastic company based in Miami, whose goal it is to produce products that are sort of affordable in the marketplace and accessible to all without compromising on quality. And what they do is they bring in these products largely from the Far East, and they put their expert attention and focus onto absolutely refining them and optimizing them to bring you brilliant products that really do a fantastic job. And these instruments here are no exception. So this is a student saxophone that is sitting neatly in that price area where, for us anyway, it sits above our current Sakusu range and just below the Trevor James range. So that's £500 plus area, which is a really sort of, I suppose, a gap in the market in terms of that price point, because a lot of people think, okay, I want to start playing the saxophone, but I don't necessarily want to spend sort of rock bottom money, as it were, and I don't want to go to the extent of a more expensive instrument, perhaps, you know, the top flight Yamaha 280, for example. So this one here sits really nicely in that sweet spot. So I think it might pique lots of people's attention from that point of view. And these instruments really grabbed my attention when I saw them on some online video reviews coming from the States. There's some really great influencers out there. There's a site called Saxology. He does some fantastic unbiased product reviews. And there's another guy out there, Better Sax, who also does the same thing. And I love what they say about products that come to them because they're totally honest. They have no financial incentive. You're always going to get a proper, good, honest answer from them. And they both found these instruments to be really good and representing fantastic value for money. So it piqued my interest. I got in touch with the guys in Miami, Jean Paul themselves, and they were really happy to send over some samples. You're looking at these samples right now. So, okay, I've been warming up today and preparing for this video, but when these saxophones arrived a couple of weeks back or so, I was truly surprised and wowed at the quality of the sound and the response and all the things that you look for as a sax player as soon as you start your testing process on an instrument. I really was quite taken back. So I'm going to go into all that in a little bit of detail right now. But first I'm going to play a little bit on each instrument so you can get a flavour of the sound and how I respond to the instruments. So from the get-go there, I'm hugely impressed with every aspect of the saxophone performance. First of all, the response. I find that on the alto, it just responds to every little articulation that you make. As you go down to the lower register, you can play piano and the notes just pop out nice and cleanly on bottom C sharps, Bs and Cs and all the rest of it. And this was my experience when I unboxed this alto a few weeks ago and tried it straight out of the box without any technical setup at all. So this is a good point, or good time for me to introduce the idea that the guys in Miami spend a lot of time doing an individual setup on all of these instruments to make sure that it's absolutely purring from the moment you just take it out the box. Of course, here at Sax.co, we will do this ourselves to each instrument, so in a sense it has this double setup, so you've got all the guarantees there going on. But from my own point of view, it's just really nice to open up the case, take the instrument out, be impressed at its visuals, and then try it out, and straight away it was responding beautifully in terms of its response. And then beyond that, the next thing that grabbed my attention was the tone. It's just got a lovely centered, dark tone, quite mature and with a nice focus to it. And that's quite a rare thing in a student saxophone of this kind of value. So that really impressed me, that you'd have such a mature tone, as I say, for basically a mid-level student instrument. And then the next thing I look for, which is of crucial importance when you're trying to play with others particularly, was the intonation. I really found the intonation to be quite brilliant for this price point. It's very typical that notes around the middle of the instrument, the middle D and the E, can be unstable and fly, go a little bit sharp, but actually these notes are very stable on the Jean Paul, both the alto and the tenor, so that also really impressed me. And then in terms of the keywork, the ergonomics are very comfortable, and the action is actually quite light and even. So even though I didn't necessarily demonstrate it there, when just having fun with some technical phrases, you're not getting held back by the keywork on this instrument at all. It actually feels very fast and very fluid. So all of these things are summing up to make the saxophone great value for money at this price point. I mean, I barely really have any criticisms, perhaps just a couple of little niggles. There's a little bit of sharpness for me just on the edges of the bottom C and E flat keys, but it's only on the outer edges, so it's only if you find your finger wandering off into that territory you feel that a little bit, and perhaps another tiny little thing, the cork, you can't really see it from there, but underneath the mouthpiece it was a little on the rougher side, not one of these sort of smooth corks that you get perhaps on more premium level saxophones, but again a little bit of cork grease, and once you've got your mouthpiece in position, it's not something that will affect you in any way. It certainly doesn't affect the performance. It's just really a case of getting the mouthpiece into the right position for the tuning, and I found that to be quite far down the cork in order to level up all the notes so that the intonation is clicking in very nicely. And a similar kind of thing for the tenor really. So all in all, actually, this is a brilliant saxophone, sort of ticking all of the boxes, my standard checks that I would want to do on an instrument at this student level, and really at any level. But particularly, as I say, I think it represents brilliant value for money in that student area. And also the finishing touches as well. The way the instrument is presented, as you open the case, you realise that you've got a nice quality case, plush case, good interior. It's been all the little details have been well thought out, including the mouthpiece that comes with it. This is my own Maya that I've got here that I'm happy with and obviously demonstrating on right now. But equally, it comes with a very good student mouthpiece that responds well across the range, sort of similar in character to a Yamaha 4C actually. So the Jean Paul mouthpiece, very good, and the ligature that comes with it, etc. It's not a cheap ligature, it seems to do the job very well. So all the little details have been well taken care of, so the whole package is brilliant. So really, I'm just going to be interested to see what kind of reaction these instruments have, both the alto and the tenor, when they hit the market over here. I know they've been a big success in the States initially in the first year or so, and now we're really excited to be carrying these instruments. And I know there's been a certain amount of buzz in terms of our customer inquiries, but now hopefully with this video and the fact we're receiving our first shipment in the coming week or so, I'm going to be interested to see what kind of reaction we get from you guys. But I would imagine it's going to be a very positive one because, as I've said several times in this video, I'm hugely impressed with it, and I look forward to selling these instruments to you guys out there.